What's up, everybody? Just came into the fold. There you go, man. You're like, damn it, I'm gonna wet my lip. I was eating. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week Live. It's Wellness Wednesdays. I am your host, DJ Anthony, and our resident PhD biochemist Magnus right there, trainer, 3 crowns. By the way, Magnus just brought this up. Ladies and gentlemen, we should be, but we're not. We are not sponsored by Under Armour. Magnus just brought to light that I am wearing Under Armour and so is he. So Under Armour people, if you're watching, yeah, we can be bought off 100%. We'll wear whatever you.
What why not bring another bald guy in? They already have The Rock. I mean, you can bring in me, and you have someone with hair too. And I mean, our personalities are like way more charming and crazy than The Rock, right?
That's right, baby. Come on, and right. So look, you can give us some Under Armour, and we wear it. Whatever. I'll rock basic. Anybody wants to send me clothing, I'll wear it. I mean, I was telling you, right, Magnus, off camera. Almost all of my clothing is hand-me-downs from my brothers, my friends. Like I literally very rarely go shopping for anything. It's not that I don't want to. It's just like, bro, this is a pretty nice shirt. Why would I don't got to buy another one. Whatever. So you and I were talking about off camera also about, right, just kind of like lifestyle. You're from Sweden. I am not. I'm from New Jersey. How you doing? And, but now you're in Cali. So, yeah, we're talking about, life in other countries and stuff like that. And you'd be a perfect candidate for a lot of these topics we have today, which is number one, we're going to talk about, and I love crapping on America as an American. It's a pastime of mine. I think like a lot of Americans who like to whine and complain, oh, America this, America that, and rightfully so. We got a lot of work to do in this country. However, I said to myself, there's some good things about our country, and we should name 3 things we're grateful for in this country. So, and then we're going to talk about the power of vegetables and fruits. You always hear your mom and dad say, eat your vegetables, eat your fruit. Everybody knows it's good for you, but why? So I said, let's do a little series. We're going to break down a fruit and a vegetable every week and talk about the power of that particular fruit and vegetable. So today you have broccoli and I have blueberries, right? So yeah. You're going to tell us about how great broccoli is, and I'm going to tell everybody how great blueberries are. And then we're going to get into healthcare, which is interesting. I thought you'd be an interesting person to talk about this because you coming from Sweden, how the healthcare there is much different and it's universal versus in America. And so what could, our lawmakers in America do to make healthcare more accessible in addition or aside from the law aspect of it? And then last but not least, you're going to join a gym, you're going to pump weights, what should you look for when you're joining a gym? Or should you join a spa? Or should you join a country club? What to look for in gym shopping this time of year? So I don't know that we're going to get to all of this because you and I might be talking for 9 hours. But okay, so let's start off with America. And I come from, my family are immigrants from Italy. So I'm the first person born, first generation here, I guess. And so you are from Sweden. Okay, so we'll go back and forth. 3 things. Okay, so what's one thing that you are grateful for here in the good old US of A?
So first of all, this is a great country. Whatever people are saying, yeah, there's always going to be pros and cons and things like that. But I'm luckily I found my now wife in this country, and that's why I'm kind of became an immigrant for long term. Yeah. But I just love that it's a cultural melting pot. Like you're allowed to have your own culture, but as long as you also keep in an American culture, I think, and that blend is so amazing. Like you're bringing things like you're just looking at food and it could be religion, it could be what else? Basically, theater, movies, things like that. It's so much diversity, and there's so many things going on in this country. And I think that we're seeing throughout the whole world a little bit more nationalistic things. But I think that with the States is that it's basically a very, very new country. But
relatively speaking, yeah.
The culture, there's so many things that came in here, and people were welcome with open arms and starting a new life and having a new opportunity to do things. That is such a beautiful thing. and I really, really hope that that will continue.
Yeah, you're about to make me cry, Magnus. That was well said. You're right. And to your point, see, now I'm going to piggyback on what you said, because great minds think alike. I mean, I don't have, I have hair, you don't, but our minds are alike. That's why you're on the show.
What? I got hair, buddy.
Right, man. Looks good. Yeah, no, I was right behind you on that one. For me, one of the things I'm grateful for in our country, America, is the freedom of religion. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You're protected, you're celebrated. It doesn't matter what it is. And sure, there are countries in the world where you can be any religion, but it's kind of like wink, wink. You got to kind of be that religion, whatever that may be, if you want to get the promotion or get the job or get the apartment. And then there are other countries in the world where if you're the wrong religion, you literally will die. Like, they will kill you, period. I can run a list, but I don't want to do that. So I'm very grateful for this country where, by the way, you can change religions. You want to be this one week, next week you want to be something else. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can hurt you. No one can not give you a promotion. Nobody can not hire you or give you the promotion. That's awesome about our country, And so I think if you read or watch world news, and I know many people do, it's pretty scary out there, man. If you're the wrong religion, and I'm not just talking about that religion, I'm talking about that religion too. I mean, it's a mess out there. So I'm very grateful for our country that you can be any religion. I'm on my street alone where I live. It's the United Nations of Religions. And so it's an awesome thing. Okay, second thing. What's the second thing you're grateful for being in America? Y'all get it done.
I would say just the country itself, like nature, how the diversity. And one thing that I think it's amazing is like the national parks. The more you head out west, the more space is actually considered national parks. And I think that is something that is super, super important to keep in the country. And I think that Roosevelt, when he kind of brought this in, so far ahead of his time of thinking about this and being able to just go out and be in nature. In Sweden, we have an amazing law too, that you basically you can stroll around on like other people's property unless it's like kind of closed in. So you have a lot of for instance, people that owns forests, right? Right. Because sooner or later they're gonna cut down the trees and use it for timber and things like that. But during the other time when it's just there, you can go and pick berries. You can do things on it. And you can actually stay and overnight tenting and things like that. You're allowed to stay for a couple of days, but then so it's not like a permanent settlement or anything like that.
Right.
But it comes down to a similar, and that's why I love like the national parks and nature, because it's so diverse. There's so many things going on. Just like looking at the West Coast. Like the difference going from basically Seattle down to San Diego, there's so many. Yeah, amazing.
Same thing on the East Coast.
Yeah. So, and same thing and also how different it is. Like if you compare to California and Nebraska and Miami and you have like New England, whatever it is, it's Alaska, Hawaii. I mean. The diversity and things that you can just go and visit is amazing,
Right.
Like in I would say like in Europe, it's more diverse. Like nature is pretty much similar a lot, but for us, it's like it's the different countries,
Right.
And this is basically the same thing. The different states have like it's different from state to state, and I think that a lot of people that do not live in the states don't really understand that life is very different depending on where you live throughout.
Oh, right. Especially within America too. Yeah. I mean, Alaska versus Miami is much different, right?
Which is a golden opportunity you guys have too. Be able to move around in this country and have opportunities and find where is your little golden spot.
Right. And you just mentioned opportunities, which is my second thing that I'm grateful for in America. Opportunities. Now, I get it. I have friends that live overseas and they love where they are overseas. That's great too. But I think, in my opinion, and I've been around the world a little bit. I mean, I'm not the biggest world traveler, but I've been around. Like I said, I come from a family of immigrants. Opportunity. Hey, listen, I used to be a teacher. Now I'm a DJ. You can't really do that in many, and I make a living being a DJ. It's not like I'm struggling. So but I had to work and put my time, but my point is the opportunities are there. You can be, granted you're healthy and stuff like that, and you can be really whatever you want to be. It's just up to you how much you want to sacrifice and put the work in. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a shoe shiner, you want to own a restaurant, you want to be a teacher and then go become a DJ. You can do those things. And it's not like that in many parts of the world. You have to pick something and this is what you're going to do, and that's that. America, I have friends of mine that were lawyers and now they're stand-up comedians. That's what they do. I mean, and they make a living doing that. Try that in the other country. You feel whatever country that is. Good luck. You're not going to make a living, being a comedian in most countries. But anyway, so that's the other thing. Okay, now what's your third thing that you're grateful for?
So from being kind of a little bit deeper, this is very shallow, I would say, but I love football.
American football or soccer?
Yes. Yeah, no, American football. It's a passion that I played when I was in Europe, and it's just something that I really hold like close to me. And also like the people I met through it. Even if I was playing in Europe, we had a lot of American coaches and players coming over, and how that kind of, our mutual friend Jason, for instance, like be able to meet these people and spend time with them and getting to know one another, and then like even if we don't see one another, talk to one another a lot, it's still a brotherhood that you're very, very tight.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I like. The sport, the team building, the companionship, it helped me with so many things in life too.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I enjoy, like spending time playing and spending time watching, like up to a certain degree. Then I get kind of bored. But
you get yelled at by the missus.
Yeah, not just that, but like for me, I have a hard time sitting down for like 3 or 4 hours straight sometimes, and just like, well, if it's not a good game, I'm not. Right. I'll head off and do something else.
Right.
It's just something. It's just something that I really, really enjoy, and I think that has helped me a lot with life in general.
Same here. By the way, to your point, America also has a diversity in sports. Most countries, they might be good or have offerings of 1 or 2, maybe 3 sports. But America, I mean, forget it. You got sports that you never heard of that you can play here and be, whatever. All right, my last one, and this has to do with you kind of. So you were in the military in Sweden, and I'm very grateful for our military here in our country. Because without a military, you don't have an immune system. The military is a country's immune system. Without a military, you don't exist. So I'm very grateful for the men and women, and I have many in my family who have served our country and, put it on the line. And I'm grateful for our, we take for granted, and I know you know this because, you're a worldly guy, but a lot of Americans take for granted that we don't have to think and worry about being invaded from some other country. That's happening now as we speak, not only in one spot in the world, many spots in the world. Many countries are at war with each other, being invaded. And I'm like, wow, that's one less thing we have to think about. And we take that for granted, that, we're worried about traffic and worried about our job and our kids, and rightfully so. But can you imagine having to worry about tanks are coming into your street? People are, there's literally war going on. I mean, we're very lucky that, we have a strong military that protects us. It's the country's immune system. So, I'm very grateful for that. Okay. So we got your 3, my 3. Okay. Broccoli. Now you hear people say, hey, eat your vegetables. Okay. I know it's good, but why is it good? Why? Okay. So you got broccoli. I got blueberries. What did you find out about? Oh, I know, man. My dog too. He was
crying. He wanted to get up. Sorry, guys.
My dog too is here, but he's such a. Is he here? I don't know. See, the one thing about small dogs, is this. You have to be careful where you walk, because these sons of guns will, God forbid you trip or you step on them, and that's a good thing about a big dog. You always know where they are. Anyways, okay, so blueberries, broccoli. Why is broccoli good? Why should I eat broccoli? Good. I know, but why?
So broccoli is actually considered as a superfood, and I'm just gonna basically brush on
brush it, baby, brush it. Come on.
Because we're basically like yearly, there's new research on why broccoli or other vegetables are good. So it's very nutrient dense. It has a lot of vitamins, fibers, minerals. It actually contains quite a good amount of protein for being a vegetable. Even if it's not like, it does not contain all the 20 amino acids, but anyway, it's still a good source of everything. What else do we have in it? We have antioxidants. We have and those, like, what does that help with? It actually helps reduce inflammation. It reduces more leveling out with sugar. So we're talking about the insulin effect, things like that. It helps out with that, having a more stable insulin things. It actually has shown to be proactive against certain forms of cancers. So and of course the diversity, we're talking about this before, about our gut flora and things like that. It helps out with that. Those are just a couple of things I would say, but there's many more. Right. So it's it's one of my favorite vegetables, to be honest. It's one thing that I eat like almost daily.
Me too.
In different kinds, steam cook it, roast it, have it in a stir fry, whatever.
A little salt and butter, salt and pepper, you're good to go.
Yep.
Well, it's nature's medicine, really.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, put a little salt and butter on there.
Yep. Blueberries.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Blueberries. You know, so I eat broccoli and blueberries every day, without fail. I consume broccoli and blueberries every single day. So blueberries, real quick. Okay, health benefits of blueberries. Blueberries contain vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that provide notable health benefits. For example, blueberries are rich in vitamin K, which plays an important role in promoting heart health. You have heart problems or you want to stay away from heart problems, blueberries. And by the way, blueberries are also one of the fruits that are relatively okay for diabetics to eat with your doctor's, discretion and advice, but it's one of the better fruits. So high antioxidant levels. So antioxidants, like you said before, Magnus, they help our bodies manage free radicals that can hurt our body. If you have high cholesterol, eat blueberries. What else? And then if you have high blood pressure, eat blueberries. It helps control diabetes, blueberries, with blood sugar levels. And what else? And blueberries contain fiber. So fiber is good for your heart, for your colon, for your, you want to help increase the odds of not getting colon cancer, eat blueberries. And so that's it. So I put blueberries in my yogurt. I eat the blueberries as part of my cereal. Maybe I don't eat cereal like oatmeal. You know what I mean?
So here's a thing that you can think of, and a tip for everybody, all our viewers and listeners. So vegetables with thin skin and usually eatable skin usually contains more antioxidant because they don't have that thick skin to protect itself and the innards. So when we're looking at berries, it's basically exposed straight away from UV light. That's why we need a lot of antioxidants to protect the berries and plant from harmful UV rays. So looking at it, that's why I'm a big proponent for eating like berries, cherries, things like that, even apples with skin. So just something to think of. And I also, one thing that I want to add with fruit is that there seems to be a trend that's been going on for quite some time now to try to demonize fruit, which is complete BS, because what they're saying, it contains a lot of carbohydrates and fructose and things like that. Yeah, but most of that research is done to prove that is not healthy. It's isolated forms. We're not talking about a full fruit that has everything.
Fiber.
And fibers and water and things like that. So don't think that fruit is dangerous. Fruit is one of the most nutrient dense and important food groups there is. So don't knock that out.
Right. So, by the way, and to your point, I would tell people, don't get confused though. Like blueberries or apples, you want to eat the actual blueberries, not a blueberry muffin, not blueberry bar, not apple juice. You want to eat the apple with the fiber, micronutrients, because juices are garbage. Stay away from anything juices. Stay away from anything with blueberry like components. That you want to eat the blueberry. So, okay, very good. No, I appreciate you clarifying that, Magnus. So, along the lines of healthcare now. So we're getting into this. Okay, so you're from Sweden. Sweden has universal health care. America, we don't. We kind of do with Medicare, Medicaid, whatever. But okay, so what things, if we were talking to a legislator or a governor or a political leader or I don't know, somebody making the laws, or even for ourselves, I guess aside from laws, but what could make healthcare more accessible to more Americans? What's one of the things that you notice or you would advise from coming from a country that has it all?
So here's the deal. It's very complex to look at Scandinavian cultures and say this works here and trying to make it work.
It's different country, different sensibilities.
Yeah, because this Sweden is basically the size of California, and we have 10 million people living there. California has 40 million people living on like the same size. So it's hard to kind of like, you're comparing basically apples and baseball, I mean, similar shape, but completely different things. So one thing that I would say, like what helps a lot in a country like Sweden is productivity. That we see that people are like have less sick days. They're usually more productive, and they're also less stressed in certain ways, which helps with when we're talking about long-term health too. That a stress factor usually like try to keep it lower. Have a little bit of stress is better than having a lot of stress.
Chronic stress.
So those are the things, and also like. And here's the thing that is different. Like in the States, you have a lot of hospitals and healthcare that is run as profitable businesses. That is not how it works in a lot of the other countries that have.
Life shouldn't be a commodity where, I mean,
yes. So you don't have to worry. It's like, well, your insurance doesn't cover this. So you have to go to another hospital. Well,
you have to go die now.
Out here, yes, I'm making it way worse than it sounded. That's not the case. But sometimes the whole kind of system it's almost laughable. It's like, well, I'm going to the hospital because I have a problem, and I'm getting sent away to another hospital to solve that problem. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I understand it from a business perspective, but I don't understand it really from like a health perspective.
Yeah. Well, to your point about that too, I would say the first thing I would recommend to anybody would be that, my opinion, 50% of our healthcare is incumbent upon us. So if you're smoking, if you're drinking, if you're sitting and binge watching and more sitting and eating bread, pasta, chips and cake and cookie and beer and soda and sitting, what do you think is going to happen? Of course you're going to get heart disease, Of course you're going to get diabetes. Of course you're going to have, problems with your knees and your back. So I think 50% of it we control. So we don't even have to get the government involved. Just taking care of ourselves better would, I think, solve 50% of the problem. And after that,
I think it's even more than that.
Oh yeah, I'm being facetious. I think it's like probably 75%, but whatever.
Yeah.
By the way,
and another thing to kind of look at it too, like being proactive is definitely going to help you like long term too. It's like you do not have to go to the hospital. One thing like to understand about Western medicine is that it's extremely good like on emergencies and things like that. When we're talking about more like
healthcare, wellness.
Yes, and looking at it when we're starting to see like, well, here's something that we cannot solve with a pill or doing surgery on and things like that.
Right.
It becomes way harder.
100%.
And that has a lot to do like with philosophy and thinking more of the human as a whole, like more holistic thoughts about like mental health and emotional health and things like that I always bring up, that we have to see it from that perspective too, to actually help an individual become healthy.
Right. And that's cheaper, by the way, when you ounce prevention with a pound of cure. If you're helping everybody before they get sick, then you have a less
Yeah,
of a medical bill because you're not going to the ER, which is very expensive. You're
yeah.
not having all these pills and operations because you don't have type 2 diabetes. You don't have heart disease because you took care of yourself for 30 years through proper healthcare. But so, the other thing I would say is in America, I don't know if if you're aware of this, but well, I am, and I don't think many Americans are. Any given state you live in, like New Jersey, I only have about 3 healthcare providers I can choose from, 3 healthcare insurances.
Yeah.
That's something you would expect from Russia. Like, why we should be able to shop across state lines, like I can shop across state lines for anything I want, but not healthcare. So it's kind of like we're a business model, but we're not a business model. It's like, let me shop. If I find something in Pennsylvania that's a better insurance, or Vermont or Miami, why can't? So they don't let us shop across state lines. They don't let our government negotiate pill prices. And every other country on earth, or most of them, the government can negotiate pill prices. Not in America. We have to pay whatever Big Pharma tells us to pay. That's going to drive prices up.
Yeah.
So
here's an interesting fact too. It might have changed, but the last time I heard the statistics is pretty interesting. So there's only 3 countries in the world that are allowed to do basically commercials about prescription drugs. It's
America.
New Zealand, it's Argentina, and of course the States. The thing is, like I think that people get a lot of, like, you basically entrap a lot of patients into believing that they need certain drugs. And unfortunately, drugs are not, we can't say that they're laser focused. It's more kind of a shotgun model.
Right.
Yes, it's going to help with whatever your issue is, probably mask it, but it also going to cause a lot of other issues. So that's why it's more important to think about, like, living healthy and be proactive and making the smart choices than not. Yeah, it's simple to go down to all the fast food joints and just like eat instead of actually going to the store or like actually like have your own vegetables if you have the space to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's like, I think it's important that the whole mindset changes. It's like, stop thinking that the pills are the solution and actually start like living a lifestyle that is better.
Well, that's what I said to somebody yesterday. I had a dietitian on, Phyllis. You met her before. I said, it's funny. Again, folks, listen to your doctor, your healthcare provider. We're not giving any advice. We're having a conversation. But and if you have to go on pills, that's great. Go on pills. But why not? I always say it. Why not look at what you're eating to help the pills, and maybe you might be able to get off the pills. And it's funny, in America, you mentioned it. So we have all these commercials about, pharmaceutical pills. I don't remember the last time I saw a commercial for broccoli or apples or and it's just all right. Pills. I mean, it's insane, and again, I don't know. So, but, the other thing I would say would drive costs up here in America is, I have a bunch of friends that are physicians, and I'm sure you probably know people too. In New Jersey, there's a shortage of OBGYN physicians. Very few doctors want to practice obstetrics here in New Jersey because the tort reform, the lawsuits and the liability that you have to have insurance on, it's just not even worth it to be an OBGYN doctor in New Jersey. Nobody wants to do that here in New Jersey. I'm surprised children are even born in New Jersey. And I get it. There's some bad doctors out there who do some bad things. They need to be prosecuted, put in jail for life. But I mean, when it's just, most doctors in America practice defensive medicine. So they prescribe all these tests just to cover their ass. It's not because you need the test. It's just that they're afraid. You can't practice healthcare like that. I'm going for 90 tests when I don't even need it. And so I think there has to be some kind of, the liability of lawsuit reform, tort reform.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about that for forever. It's probably never going to happen, but it's a damn shame. The other thing I would say, by the way, is I have people, look, I don't know about Sweden. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but in America, it seems like the only person that can give you a checkup, just a simple checkup. I have a sore throat. I'm sorry. It has to be an MD. Has to be an MD. An MD. What about having a physician's assistant give me the checkup, or a nurse, or a DO, not a DR, or like I said, it's like, no, if you didn't graduate Harvard Medical with straight A's, you cannot look at my sore throat. That's America. Now we're slowly getting a little bit better with that. But in Sweden, can they, like, I get you need brain surgery. Obviously, you want a medical doctor, but for a checkup, I think a nurse is more than qualified to do.
Yeah.
So in Sweden, who gives somebody a checkup? Like if I have a sore throat in Sweden, could I be seen by a nurse, or no? I have to go to a doctor.
You basically start seeing a nurse, but it's basically like, first of all, you might actually do a phone call, and then like, okay, we want you to come in, we want to run some tests or things like that, or like, or it might just be the common cold. If you're still feeling like shitty tomorrow, call us back. Yeah, so you have a little bit of checkpoints, but most of it you go through. Like if they gonna take the like nurses here too, take blood samples and things like that. So they're gonna do that. If they think that you need, like if there's a case that they might like have some issues with or something like that, then you will probably see the doctor. But it's not like it's not important for us to see the doctor. We just like, okay, help us. Okay, right. It doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
Like right. You still have an education within healthcare, so you'll be fine. Of course, that might sound crazy. Oh yeah, you have a plastic surgeon doing this. No, it doesn't work like that. They know what they're doing. That's what they're working with basically all day long. So they like so and then they go through like, oh, do we need you to send to a specialist, things like that. So then you get shipped off to basically a specialist.
Because millions and millions of interactions every day in this country don't need the doctor to take blood or to do a checkup or a physical. You know, that would free up the doctors and free up some nurses and PAs, you know, like to manage and spread out the load, not just everything has to be on the doctor. And then nurses are busy too. I get that, but I'm just saying, the other thing I would say too is easily our country could, in America, we could expand Medicare and Medicaid. We basically almost have universal health care in this country, but nobody wants to say it. And that's Medicare and Medicaid. So either you're 65 and older, or you're, whatever, don't make enough money. Arguably, that's tens of millions and millions and millions of Americans. So expanding that would help, narrow the gap in healthcare. Because my thing too, and you know this, but I tell people, listen, here's why we should have universal healthcare in America. It's not because we care about the other person, although we should. But if the guy making your food at the diner is sick, and he's a hard worker, but he's sick, he has to come to work because he doesn't have healthcare, and he's sneezing and coughing into your food, and your kid now gets to enjoy his virus and bacteria. So now everyone gets sick because this one person could not get healthcare. But if the person had healthcare, they would come to work either not sick or not as sick, not coughing and sneezing, and then I don't have to get sick. So, it's the old saying, the rising tide lifts all boats, the little canoe and the yacht. That's why. And by the way, it's cheaper if everyone has healthcare, because we're not using the ER for healthcare. ER healthcare is much more expensive than if I just go to the PA or the DO or the DR for a checkup. But America, we don't get this, so, and we have plenty of money because we're the richest, most powerful, richest, powerful, most richest country in the world. We give billions and billions and tens of billions and trillions to other countries. We got it here, But again, it's an ounce of prevention with a pound of cure. So now everyone goes to the ER for their healthcare if they don't have it. That's costing us more as taxpayers.
Yeah.
So it's coming, and it's a good thing because it's going to have less people getting.
It's also about seeing, like, understanding it and not being afraid of it, because I think that's where a lot of people are.
It's a change. Nobody likes change.
Yeah, and that happens with a lot of people, that we are afraid of change. That's just the way we function to protect ourselves. But trying to see it a little bit from a bigger perspective and bigger picture, I think it would be really, really good for this country, because I think you will be happier, healthier,
more productive. We can work harder, work longer.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you're going to be, and also like when we're getting older, and if we're happy to be able to like actually retire and whatnot, we're actually healthier and can enjoy our retirement too. Like we're not going to be bedridden or sitting in a wheelchair.
That strains the taxpayer, correct?
Yeah, exactly. But, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like seeing it from like having a little bit more like open mind and things like that. Yes, I understand. Like you don't want to pay for the lazy person and things like that. Same thing goes in Sweden. We don't want to pay for people.
That lazy person sneezing in your food. Yeah.
But it comes down to this. Most people do not want to use the system. They want the system to help them and help other people.
They don't want to pay the doctors.
So that's what I'm saying. like there's going to be pros and cons about everything, of course. I'm not saying, oh, go communist, blah blah blah.
No
It's
one's
not
saying
about
that. Right, right.
It's actually about making you guys healthier and more productive and enjoying life.
And by the way, we already have socialistic policies in our country anyways. The fire department, okay, in America, whether you pay taxes or not, you're entitled to have your house or apartment put out if there's a fire. That's a socialistic idea. By the way, in America, it wasn't always like that. That's why they call it fire companies. About 100 years ago, you had to pay a membership, a fire company. And if you didn't pay, you didn't get your house, the fire did not get put out. That wasn't 10,000 years ago. That was in our grandparents' generation. That's why it's called a fire company. You pay to get a plaque, and it goes inside your house. If your house is on fire and the firemen back then didn't see the plaque, didn't get put out. Now think about how asinine that is, because now that fire spreads to your neighbor's house who may have fire insurance, but now they get to die. So it would have been easier just to put the fire out the first time and not have it spread. That's healthcare. So, but again, whatever. And, hey, look, no sweat off my butt. I have healthcare. You probably have healthcare. So it's not like I'm jealous or you're jealous, but it's just an observation, that we really, it all comes down to it. It helps us. It comes back to us anyways. It helps us out regardless. Again, like the fire analogy. So now real quick. We got 36 minutes here. We can end it now if you got to go, or if you want to tackle.
Let's finish it off.
I want to join a gym. Okay. Yeah. I want to be I want to be a gym bro. So somebody wants to join a gym. Now, by the way, I know you're a gym. Well, you have a gym in your place, and I'm sure you've been to gyms before. I used to be a trainer for the Gold's Gym chain back in college. I love, as you know, into exercise. I'm playing tennis tonight. But if someone was asking me, Anthony, what should I look for in the gym? My first thing would be, well, do you want to join a gym, a spa, or a country club? They're much different. So what advice would you give them, Magnus? If somebody wants to join a gym and they say, Magnus, you're in the business, what should I look for?
So here's the same thing. It's the same thing if you're planning on building your own gym at your house. What are your needs? What would you actually do? Are you going to do you just want to go and train? Like what equipment do they have? Things like that. Could you do, we only have barbells and dumbbells and free weights. Is that what you want? Or you want machines? Or do you, for instance, want a tennis court, basketball court, racquetball court, if you want a sauna, if you want an indoor pool, outdoor pool? Don't buy things because they're there. It's like, okay, I'm buying a giant car that I basically can't park, that costs a lot of money that I'm not going to use. Like really, really think of what you're going to use.
So if you're going to join a gym, go find out what you're going to need.
Yeah. I always tell people, like, start low and then build up instead of buying high and then go down. It's usually the easier way of starting low and building up than the other way around. And because there's so many people that buy a gym membership. The family plan, and then this and that, and then you're paying now, like, it used to be several $100s. Now it's usually lower because the prices are they're competing more with prices nowadays. But there's plenty of good gyms that are like fairly cheap, like $20 a month or even lower. It's also like, is the place close to either your house or your work or somewhere where you are a lot? Because that's what you want. You do not want to go to a place that is
10,000 miles away,
30, 60 minutes away, unless you're super, super dedicated. This is what, like, you basically, it's a sport for you or whatnot, Another thing that I think is really, really important, it's kind of where, like the whole atmosphere, like a gym has a personality. It needs to fit what you want. Do you want that, like, grimy, hardcore, basically garage gym, or do you want that the posh, chromed out like place?
Right.
Like, I kind of like the more kind of like grimy, like, old school gym than a new chromed out place, because that's the environment I'm used to training in.
Right. See, now different.
It doesn't mean that it has to be dirty.
No. More dedicated, like, serious guys chit-chatting.
Yeah, more function than looks. And then another thing to also look into, if you're joining a gym and you're planning on hiring a trainer and things like that, it's very important that you do your research about the people that you might be interested in training you. Everybody's different, and like a guy that specializes in aesthetics is not going to be the same as a girl that is training you for powerlifting. So really look into what you need in a trainer and interview them and look at them, how they behave on the floor. You know, how do they interact with the other trainers, their clients, other members, things like that.
Right.
And so those things, and I'm also like trying to find a spot where you feel comfortable in, so you're not like afraid of like,
Right.
well,
Right.
the gym is scary, I'm
Right.
not going to
Right.
go, or I'm afraid of going down to the free weights or
Right.
something like
Right.
that.
Right.
Most of the people, they might look scary because they're big and have big muscles, but they're mostly like the gentlest and nicest people.
Yeah. 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 Well,
So
to your point, yeah, and that's a good tips and good points. I am see, Magnus, we're going to get a divorce here. I am the antithesis of you. I used to think, well, first off, I'm not really a gym person, but then I thought, well, maybe I am a gym person. So for me, I like the opposite. I like foo. Has to be a juice bar. Has to be a big social scene. There can be almost no weights. I love classes. I love taking yoga, and if a lot of places have martial arts, love that stuff. Anything that's going to get me talking and BSing and running for mayor, I'm down with that. I love that stuff. Right now, people make fun of me, but I'm just like, bro, they're out there, and you know, and I've done the weight places where it's like all the, you know, tough guys, tough girls, and that's fine too. But yeah, for me, I'm more about the social aspect. If you got a nice juice bar that I can have my coffee at and have some juice, and you know, go on the treadmill, take a few classes, spend half of the day there, that's for me. But the other thing is, I know you would agree, the cleanliness of it, because I used to be a trainer at many years ago when I was in college, and yeah, so I got the behind the scenes look at some of these places. But yeah, our gym was clean our gym was clean. But yeah, cleanliness, man. I'm always looking like, are they cleaning? Are they cleaning? Are they clean? Like, you gotta clean.
yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that,
yeah, especially now also with the pandemic and everything like that. Like it's been, and I think it's so sad that the gyms got such a bad rep. It's like, oh, that's one of the places where it's
totally
but it basically
unjustified.
proved that it's been proven that the gyms were the
least places that you
less like places where people actually got sick. It was more the restaurant, the bars, things like that. And I think that now when we've been through this and people know, like being locked down and things like that, just like understanding how much the gym helps us, not just physically, but the mental aspect. Training has such an important part about with our mental health and staying sane and things like that. And I really, really hope that maybe a little bit of the focus on health is actually put on like proactive healthcare, and actually coming out and understanding that being physically active, whatever you're doing, if it's in a gym, if it's outdoors, whatever, it's actually going to help us be healthier. And look into that. It's like you should look more into being proactive than reactive.
Right. The gym is where our immune system gets stronger, not where we get sick. But you know, the media and they whatever. Anyways,
yeah, and also getting bombarded now. Like one of my friends like threw this up like yesterday. Like, oh, exercises you should not be doing if you're over 50, and it was like basically like foundational things. You're like, well, you can't just say like it's not like all or nothing. It's a big like spectrum in between. So they said like squatting with weights isn't like it's dangerous and you shouldn't be doing it over 50. Well, it depends on how you do it. If you perform it poorly, and I know that a lot of people do, that's why they get injured. But it's not the exercise that is dangerous, it's the person doing it that can't do it that is dangerous, or the trainer that does not like look at the individual and have personal training and say like, well, your body type, you should avoid this, but we can do this instead.
Right.
So
Yeah, 100%.
anyhow,
Yeah, no, really.
That's
And by the way, Magnus, before I forget, how can people contact you? Because I know you are a healthcare fitness professional and nutritionist. So can you just give us your Facebook page or your website or
yes.
whatever?
So Free Crowns Health at gmail.com is my email. You can always reach me there.
Okay.
And my Facebook page, I will put the links, of course, but it's principle for lifelong fat loss, basically. So yeah, free tips. Mondays I usually have a free training when we talk about things. I'm doing kind of a series about how to stick to your diet and make it easier to stick to a diet right now. So I will have 3 more Mondays when I'm talking about that. Next Monday I'm going to be gone, so I'm going to have it on Tuesday instead. But anyway, and there's a lot of other information and a lot of fun and interesting and cool people that are there too, so you can interact with. And it's all about like making people better and feeling part of something, and also educate yourself and finding that there's many ways of doing it, and it doesn't have to be Weight Watchers or keto or paleo or things like that. There are many things in between, and I think that people need to understand that a diet or nutrition plan is very individual. Don't get the cookie cutter works for some time, but you want to find something that works for you a long time.
Right, and what you're providing is an important part of healthcare. Really, it's so yeah, for sure. So yeah, man, no, awesome, Magnus. Thank you as always. And so yeah, you can put those links in the comment section, Magnus, about your programs, and viewers, let us know what you think. I mean, what are some of your favorite fruits and vegetables, and what do you love about it?
And people that lives in the state, what do you like about the states? That's another. I mean, I think it's an excellent way of seeing it, because we're so much different and we learn so much from one another. It's like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. So it's always fun to see what you guys are thinking.
100%. All right, man. Hey, good to see you, Magnus. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to be signing off in 3, 2, 1. Hasta la vista, baby. Bye-bye. Oh, my God. Wait a second. Am I really signing off? I don't even know here. Here we go. All right.